So my name is Gunthilde Sohn. I'm the Managing Director of Instinct Tools GmbH, and we are the vendor of DITA DITA CMS. And so my time is very short today, so I can just rush you through some information what we are doing with the DITA Open Toolkit. So just to briefly mention, DITAWorks product line integrates the DITA Open Toolkit as one of the standard publishing engines. And in this way, we can publish all the different formats you know, and some of them have already been mentioned today. In my presentation, I want to briefly show EPUB and Eclipse Help, the infocenter deliverables. And as an example for the content which I'm showing you, we decided to show you publish context-based content. And I will explain this a little bit on base of an example from the sport world. And we decided to take the example of ice hockey. So in the ice hockey world, we have two major leagues. We have the International Ice Hockey Federation, IHF, and the National Hockey League, the NHL. And actually, their rule books are pretty much the same. There are only a few differences. And like, for example, the ice hockey organization name, their short name, and the dimension area, so this image of the rink for the game. And for my presentation, or for this task, we set the objectives that we want to minimize the amount of redundant content and then later create an EPUB and an Eclipse Help infocenter style output for this. For doing so, we have to create content in the DITA CMS with context variants, and the context, and we are using context variables and text blocks for this. So the context variants we are using here are the NHL and the IIHF, and then we define some context keys like the organization name, the hockey organization short name, and the rink image. For the rink image, we will use a link to a paragraph including the link either of the NHL or the IIHF. So we start by creating context variables in the reuse area of the CMS, which is pretty easy because we have a wizard doing this. Select the content variable and provide the value. Like in this case, we are starting with IIHF content. So we provide the full name here. Then we create the whole reusable content block in the reuse topic.dita. And here we will have the rink image and also some additional text inside. And we will create a new reuse element out of this context text block in the CMS. So once we have developed the content for the default context, we can always add an additional new context. And so first we are describing the content for the IIHF case, and then we use the same topic for the NHL by just providing some new values for the variables. And now we can publish these content variants by just selecting the according context in the publishing profile. It's a little bit small, but you can put, if you could see this here, that here we have a context selector. So here we are selecting either the default context or any other, like we can select the NHL or IIHF, and then the system will automatically take the right content for these specific variables. Let's first create a publication profile for EPUB. So we just select the type here, EPUB type, and of course our input file and so on, some parameters. Run this thing, and I did not prepare this as a live demo today because I wasn't sure about the internet connection, maybe. So, and then we will see results of EPUB, for example, in the DITAWorks EPUB preview, and we can go from page to page or click on some links, or we can browse them in Adobe Digital Editions, or for example in a browser plugin like here. So these are the results of our context-based publishing. And in the next step, we want to produce Eclipse Help and an infocenter. So in the publishing profile, we select the type Eclipse Help again, the context variant, and then run the publishing. And as a result, we get Eclipse Help. So the result for Eclipse Help is a zip archive with meta-XMLs and the content in HTML. And usually we would need an Eclipse Web Help engine to make this visible, so to really see the results, or we can have it as a plugin in the Eclipse application, where we then can also link, provide context depending help, for example. And in our case, we see here the DITAWorks embedded help engine, and we have something like this that looks like a structured website. And here we can click through either the tree, navigate through the TOC, table of content. We can search for it, go forward, backward, and so on. And so we are using these output formats in our customer projects as well as for internal purposes for the product itself. So we have met our objectives by doing this. So we could minimize the amount of redundant content by having major text parts of the rule book the same, and only there in the small pieces that are different using the context variants and the context variables, and then publish in EPUB and in infocenter Eclipse Help, and have this in the different previews or output formats as well. So then I'm through. So I hope I was fast enough. I thank you very much for your time. And if you have questions, then just drop me an email on contact@instinct-tools.com, or our website about DITAWorks is available here as well. Are there any questions right now? Or are we in a hurry? You know?
One question.
Silence. Okay. Everybody is. But, yeah.
I just want to confirm.
So the EPUB transform you're using is that the DITA for Publishers EPUB transform, or is it a different EPUB implementation? It is, right?
Yep.
I was hoping that was the case.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure.